So a very common question CISOs ask is, how do I deal with the board? And there's a couple of things. The first dimension is that sometimes when the question's asked, it's asked by someone who doesn't realize that most interactions between security executives and boards are so curated that there's very little decision-making involved. Meaning, you start the process with your deck. Your boss says, hey, we got to pitch the board. Where's your PowerPoint deck? And you give them 17 charts with all kinds of dashboards and stuff. That goes to your boss. Maybe boss runs infrastructure. Boss will say, well, these 17, we don't have that much time. There's really these 11 that I think make sense. Let's go take them to the board secretary. Take them to the board secretary. Board secretary looks and says, well, I don't think our board members are going to understand most of this. Chart 2, 6, and 8 look good. Just come with those 3 charts. And you say, okay. And also, too much tech jargon in here. Can you make it a little less technical? So suddenly you make it a little less technical. Then before you go in, you're sitting in a little area. The board's running late. They're getting close to lunch. And they say, listen, we only have 15 minutes. No presentation. Just come in. They're going to ask you a few questions. You go in. The questions are asked. Your boss answers the questions. You're sitting there smiling. Maybe there's a little piece where your boss will pause and say, and we use who for our SIM? And you say the name of the vendor. They say, thank you. Finishes the answer. Done. You leave, and that's your board presentation. So I don't mean to be cynical. I'm just saying that in the vast majority of cases, this concept of I'm going to go in and have this unfettered discussion with a board is ridiculous. That's not the way it tends to happen. Now, in the cases where it is a little different, and it tends to be maybe tech companies where there's a product that tends to be more wrapped in cyber, or an executive team and board that tends to be a little bit more open to those topics, there may be some interaction. And in that case, my advice would be, make sure you prepare, make sure you communicate properly, and do not talk down to the board. I think the silliness of, the board, they live up here, and the details are down here is silly. These are intelligent, capable people, and you should brief them, not give tutorials to board members. They're extremely intelligent. I think there's a habit of maybe trying to talk down too much, and I think that's nonsense. They can follow what you're doing. So the 2 points: 1, it's probably going to be curated. Go with it. What are you going to do? And 2, if you do have a conversation, then just make sure you're yourself, and that you're communicating effectively and clearly and not talking down to them. Does that make sense?